And welcome back everyone to the video series dedication show on MTV that wants to bring out that dog in you. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge All-Stars Rivals, aka The Challenge All-Stars Season 5. And there was a lot of dog talk, whether it was from KellyAnne or Sylvia, or everybody describing Adam and his sickness. But speaking of KellyAnne and Sylvia, let's start off where last episode left off, and that was them getting into a huge argument. We wake up the next day, and Sylvia is talking with Shane about the argument and just how frustrating it is to be partnered up with KellyAnne. Sylvia does have the majority of the Lavender ladies here in the house, so she probably feels good on that level, but how well do their pairs match up with her and KellyAnne? There's a lot of question marks. As Sylvia is talking with Shane, KellyAnne is out there talking with Frank, pouring out her heart, and Frank is there to be there for KellyAnne and even tells her and Sylvia being in the game is very, very important to Frank and that Frank will always have her back. Except for when in the confessional, Frank says that he doesn't care about anybody but himself and Sam, that he will say whatever he wants or needs to anybody else to make them think that, oh, I care about you so much, but in actuality, he will throw your name under the bus if it benefits his game in some way. I'm telling you, I got goosebumps listening to Frank in the confessionals because it's like he never left. This is just like season 23, season 24 all over again. I just feel like Frank just has a knack for this game, and he just never changes. Now we go from Frank to his partner, Sam, as she is having a conversation with Aneesa. Sam is making her challenge return here on All-Stars Rivals 12 years after season 23 had aired. She had a lot of question marks about coming back. Is it the right move? Will she be able to hang out with everybody and do the competitions? And realistically, I'm sure that there was some apprehension about how she will be received by everybody else because her first season, season 23, was not all rainbows and sunshines, you know? I mean, the worst treatment she got was from her own team in Zach and Frank. But in saying that, All-Stars is a different competition. It's not the same as it was back in season 23, the flagship show, and having someone like Aneesa on the season for Sam to confide in, to have an understanding with, to be able to talk to and be open about, in everything is something that Sam didn't have on her first season in season 23, and they have this really nice vibe with each other, and I do like this friendship that Sam and Aneesa have. We move from a nice moment to a sickly moment as we hear that Adam is just sick. That is not a good position for Adam and Steve. If people were willing to vote you in when they felt you were at your best, if they weren't going to win the daily challenge, it was bound to happen that they were going to be voted in again, which is a little bit of a foreshadowing. Let's now put a pin in the house drama as we move everybody to this week's daily challenge called Ball Buster. Each team will jump into the ball pit, grab balls of their team's color. They will then have to transport those balls through an obstacle course to where then they will put it down a slide and it will take them to their bins. Once a pair collects 10 balls, then they will move on to putting together a puzzle, a tangram of a star. The first team to transfer 10 balls and to complete their star puzzle will win power and win safety. Now there was a lot of different strategies happening for these teams for this challenge. We see Ashley and Dario just run in, grab the 2 biggest balls they could, and then just get out in front. While other teams decide that they're going to take their time, search for smaller balls so they can get fewer trips. Now, while some teams were worried about how many trips they were going to do, Aneesa was buckling at the knees just looking at this cargo net. The last time she had to do anything that was an obstacle course was season 37, where she fell off the wall and pulled her shoulder out of her socket. Ashley, who is very competitive and wants to win at everything, is frustrated about how long everything is taking for Aneesa. I'll be for real, I'm surprised that there wasn't a balance beam in this mini obstacle course, because then we could have had a moment between Aneesa and Coriel and them being nervous around something that you can find at a children's playground. Some of these teams were doing incredibly well. You have Devin and Leroy transferring 5 balls at once, ensuring that they only wanted to do this obstacle course twice. You have Turbo and Nani transferring 5 balls. And then you have some teams that are falling quickly behind. Katie and Veronica aren't trying very hard. They're going based off their social game. They don't think they were going to win this challenge anyways. So they're just transferring 1 ball at a time. Frank and Sam are working well together. Frank is being as polite as he can to his partner Sam, being uplifting. I mean, we saw a lot of teams being very helpful with each other. Devin and Shane working well with each other. KellyAnne and Sylvia working well with each other. Frank and Sam were working well until Sam just said that she couldn't do it anymore. Like, they did maybe a couple of trips, but at a certain point, the heat was getting to Sam. It was becoming too much, and that frustrates Frank, because if this was a solo game, Frank would have gone until the wheels fell off. We get towards the end of the game where it comes down between 2 teams. You got Devin and Leroy and Amber and Fessel. They are 2 teams that are working on the star puzzle simultaneously. Amber and Fessel are nearly going to win their back-to-back daily challenges until Devin and Leroy take the win. Leroy was helping Devin with the puzzle. It was a good team effort by them, and they win. Now, once they are deemed the winners, we do see Devin getting on his high horse, being like, I want everybody in the house at the end of the night thinking that we're going to choose them. And I felt like, okay, Devin, if you're going to talk that big of a game, I want to see some moves being made. We get back to the challenge house where Adam is still very sick. And then we move to a conversation between KellyAnne and Sylvia. They talk to each other and come to an understanding with each other. They both apologize for their part in the argument with one another. And so I did like that. Yes, they did have their disagreements. Yes, they did have their arguments, but they were able to hash things out. And towards the end of this episode, it seemed like they are best friends. Somebody who is not best friends with their partner at this moment is Ashley Millionaire Mitchell. She is frustrated with Aneesa. She doesn't seem to want to win. She has a reputation for not winning. And then being in a house, Ashley is very critical of the effort she is seeing, or lack thereof, from Aneesa. Aneesa is playing a really good social game. She has a ton of friends in the house, and Ashley wants her to do more. Want to be more. Ashley says that she comes to win, then make it far into the game because of friends, and then be eliminated right before the final, or have no chance of winning the final. Let's put a pin in Ashley and Aneesa's drama for now as we get to the house vote. Adam tries his best to pull at the heartstrings, being like, I'm so sick. And I'm not trying to make fun of it, but you can't do this and think that it's going to work. You can't have a mass conversation with everybody and be like, look, everybody, if you do us a solid, we'll do you a solid. You have to have individual conversations. I know Adam is sick and nobody's going to want to talk to him, but there has to be a point in the game that you're going up to people, trying to get their trust early, one-on-one with each other. If you're not coming into the house vote with deals already in place to keep you safe and numbers and people saying that they will vote to keep you, then it's not going to happen. Nobody's in the mood to give sympathy as Adam and Steve get 9 votes. Big T and Coriel get 1 vote, and that was by Katie and Veronica, and then Frank and Sam get 1 vote because Adam and Steve threw a vote on them. Now, there is a conversation with Devin and Leroy where Adam says that he wants to face off against Frank and Sam. Devin says, I'll see what I can do, I'll talk to a couple of teams, and maybe we can make that happen. We do see in a flashback that Devin and Leroy go to talk with Frank and Sam, where Frank throws out KellyAnne and Sylvia's name. Seems like the 2 pairs strike up a conversation. This conversation of let's work together. Frank doesn't care. You know, he is looking at Devin and Leroy and Adam and Steve as 2 teams that he wants to target in the future. And as long as Frank and Sam make a deal with Devin and Leroy to keep them out of elimination for now against Adam and Steve, Frank will say whatever he wants to. And it's just so funny because there is a point where it comes off like Devin wants to come off as this like giant mastermind. Like he is coming up with all the plans. He is the puppet master, when it feels like, at least with the edit, I'm only going to say with the edit, that Frank has all these people by the string. I mean, Leroy in the confessional says, I like KellyAnne, I like Sylvia, but if we're gonna throw them in, let's throw them in, you know? We gotta maximize on the deals that we are making, and I want to work with Frank and Sam. But let's get to the elimination, because I feel like I tipped my hat a little bit too much. But Adam and Steve joins TJ on the sand. Devin and Leroy throws in KellyAnne and Sylvia in this week's elimination called Pile It On. The two pairs will have to complete a puzzle, and then there is going to be this spool of rope and chains that once you complete the puzzle, you have to run over there and hold up everything that was unraveled, and as it continues to unravel, you have to make sure nothing hits the ground. You have to hold up all of this stuff for 5 straight minutes. If anything touches the ground, your time restarts. This elimination is fine. I understand that they wanted to have a puzzle as an equalizer, so it's not just all strength-based or all weight-based as you're just trying to hold on to this slow-moving unraveling of the chain and the rope, which could come into benefit for Adam and Steve over KellyAnne and Sylvia. But this was all right. It wasn't my favorite elimination, as Adam and Steve were able to finish the puzzle and then get to holding up the ropes and the chains for 5 minutes first, and nothing touched the ground, so Adam and Steve won. Both pairs did incredibly well. Just KellyAnne and Sylvia was a little bit slower on the puzzle, which ultimately led to them losing this elimination. Adam and Steve live to fight another day as KellyAnne and Sylvia go back to the challenge house and pack up their stuff together. We do get this joint confessional with them as they're talking about, oh, I called you a Chihuahua, I called you a Rottweiler, and they give a very nice hug when the producer says, is there a hug in the future? And it's just nice. You know, they have this reconciliation, and it really feels like they're leaving on really, really good terms. And I thought that this was a very nice moment. That is until we get the cliffhanger, where Aneesa makes a joke by saying that the wine isn't chilled enough, and if Ashley really needs to have her wine chilled, why not put an ice cube in it like a redneck does? And Ashley takes pretty big offense to that. I think Ashley can take a joke here and there, but it sounds like when her and Aneesa are arguing, that Aneesa makes too many jokes all day long, and Ashley feels like it comes to her expense. I also think that this is building upon Ashley trying her hardest to be there for Aneesa and be a good teammate and good partner, to where she feels that there is a level of disrespect that Aneesa makes when she makes these country jokes, when Ashley feels like, why am I here having to deal with her making jokes to me all the time when I don't say anything bad about her? Now, Aneesa says that she did not mean it as mean-spirited. Aneesa apologizes and then gives Ashley some space. Now, Ashley does have a one too many maybe, and then goes and talks with Fessel, basically lays it on thick that Aneesa is a pick-me girl, and that Ashley saying something or getting angry with Aneesa won't ruin their game, but Aneesa will. That if they lose, it's because of Aneesa. And Aneesa looks like she is around earshot of hearing all of this. It's going to be hard to see if they're going to be able to see eye to eye with each other, but we had the same cliffhanger with KellyAnne and Sylvia in episode 2, and they left episode 3 the best of friends. I don't know. I guess we should just keep our eyes on Ashley and Aneesa heading into next week's episode. But that is it for this week's All-Stars Rivals episode. What did you think about this episode? Let me know down in the comment section below. I thought this episode was all right. I thought the daily challenge was actually pretty decent. Maybe the editing of it was a little wonky. I don't think it actually took that long, and that's why some of the edit felt a little bit out of place and spliced a little bit. I think the eliminations will be rather mid because I think that it's going to be so puzzle heavy because of the difference in teams. I feel like the eliminations are just going to be kind of par for the course for the rest of the season. So we should lean into the house drama and the daily challenges. I am looking forward to next week's daily challenge, as that was one of the better daily challenges from season 40. I know they're not playing the exact same game, but 2 trucks, what more could you ask for, you know? And I'm looking forward to possibly a switch up of stars or something in next week's episode. But again, what did you think about this episode? Let me know down in the comment section below. What did you think about KellyAnne and Sylvia being eliminated this episode? Are you sad to see them go? Are you happy to see them go? Do you think Frank is the puppet master so far in this season? What do you think about his gameplay so far? Let me know that down in the comment section below as well. And what do you think about Ashley M versus Aneesa? What do you think about that whole dynamic? I want to hear what you have to say. Please let me know anything and everything you thought about this episode down in the comment section below. I now want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everyone who is watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge All-Stars Rivals content, more challenge content, possibly a Challenge 41 rumored cast list very soon, as well as other challenge content and other content in general. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.